Let's talk about line breaks. Do you ever experiment with line breaks and kind of just move things around?
I have, when I'm writing it, in the book that just came out, I wrote it, and when I looked around, I was like, actually, this needs to be moved here, and then I need to move this.
I want to play around with the line breaks a little bit. Just a minor punctuation note. These semicolons you don't really need. When because is in the middle of a sentence, you don't need semicolons. You don't need anything. You can just roll. When because is in the middle, you don't need anything. Don't need a thing. If you put the because first, like if I said because I'm tired, if you did that, then you would need a comma. What changes?
It just flows. It's a continuous flow instead of a break.
For which one? The first one or the second one?
The second one. Just keep going. Like I said, I'm motivated as I go to sleep because I still, you just keep flowing on. I'm motivated as I go to sleep because I see all the work that God has done. Which, still got the same flow, but it's just not as much of a break. It's just go right into it. So it just depends if you want to break there or not. It works both ways.
And I think just because something appears on the page one way doesn't mean we have to read it that way. You can read this any way you want. I kind of just want to go line by line and talk about if we break it this way, what does it mean? Or what does it kind of imply versus if we break it a different way? So for instance, this first line, I'm motivated as I go to sleep. Okay, so that puts me specifically in the scene as like I'm the going to sleep. I'm motivated as I go to sleep. So that puts me in that frame of mind that I'm sleeping, right? Because I see all the work that, okay.
So you said you're motivated, you're sleeping. I said I go to sleep, so it's like we're getting prepared for bed.
Right, exactly. Like I'm in that moment of preparing for sleep.
Yeah.
I'm in that moment. That's kind of what you're painting for me here. Because I see all the work that, okay, so this to me is I'm literally kind of seeing work, whatever work, however I interpret work to me, and I see all of it. God is done. I'm motivated as I. So this seems to be almost kind of playing around with the parallel. Like I'm motivated as I. Like I'm motivated as a sheep. I'm motivated as, like an orca hunting a seal. I'm motivated as I. Sure. Okay. Wake. So that's an interesting break. So starting a line with wake. So as soon as you get to the line, it's like wake. So it's almost like a command to your reader to be like, wake, get up, wake. And then why do I wake? Because I rejoice to see. I rejoice to see. Okay. And then the rising of the sun with the wordplay on sun. Okay. Okay, so those are the things that kind of stand out to me in the first version, if I read it like that. In the second version, I'm motivated as I go. Well, now I have no idea about the sleeping, right? Like as I go, it feels like I'm going somewhere. There's motion, there's action. Oh, to sleep. Okay, so there's this moment of surprise, right? Because the reader, if you're going line by line, it's almost like you're kind of trudging through the dark, right? And it's like, okay, I did the first line as I go to sleep. So there's that little surprise. Okay. And then
hard turn.
A little bit, right? To sleep because I see all. So now like there's almost a sense that why am I sleeping? It's because I see all to sleep because, so like each line isn't just connected to the previous line. Each line is also kind of its own independent unit. It's like to sleep. Why am I sleeping? Well, because I see all. But then there's also the sense that I'm motivated as I go to sleep because I see all. So it's adding just this extra layer. There's the line meaning I'm motivated as I go to sleep because I see all. But then there's also the individual line layer too, to sleep because I see all. So like, the more we can add this sort of complexity where the lines they operate on their own, but then they also operate in the larger context of the poem, the more complicated the poem becomes. We're adding layers.
So taking those punctuations out gives it a better layer.
Sort of.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Punctuation is kind of tricky because punctuation adds clarity, but it also adds choppiness because it breaks things up. So we have to be careful with it.
Yeah, I might pull that out because because I gotta go out for this one. This one's gonna be the title and one of the first poems in Volume 3. I ain't got Volume 2 out yet, so this one I got a while for this one.
Got you. I see all the work that God has done. Okay. So like now the work that God has done, this gets its own line. It has its own space. The work that God has done. It's its own line. It's the only thing I need to concentrate on. Whereas before, all the work that God has done, we're separating God from the work, literally, in terms of space, you know. Whereas now I'm able to kind of keep it in its own unit together. I'm motivated as I wake. Now it's almost giving me this like refrain quality, right? I'm motivated as I go. I'm motivated as I wake, right? So it's kind of hearkening back to what was said before. Not that it doesn't happen here, but now it becomes a little bit more visible. Because I rejoice to see. And again, this is kind of like the previous line, or 2 lines ago. Because I rejoice to see. So like, again, I'm treating it as its own little unit. Because I rejoice to see. And then we had a similar close. So do you see how playing around with line breaks, it's still the same poem, but suddenly meanings start shifting.
Some of the words, the sentence pop out more without the breaks. Yeah.
It's some words start getting like almost double entendres, like they start getting a lot more layers to them. Like for instance, go was able to be a verb of motion, but it also becomes the verb like go to sleep. So you get kind of like that expression. Even like the word all changes here, right? Because I see all, like all the people, but then it says no, all the work. It's like, so now the all kind of changes its meaning by that. So like, we want to be thinking about line breaks. We want to be thinking about how are we ending a line? How does that word change meaning when I add the next line? You know, and the more we can do that, again, this starts adding a lot more layers to the poem.